once again, and once again, it is the third safety car of the race. I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm really not, and that's no disrespect to the drivers, but Canadian Grand Prix, historically in real life and also racing online, it's always been a circuit where it does incur a lot of safety cars, especially with the wall which goes around the circuit, where the circuit obviously is an island as well, which also with that brings in a lot of rain. But that's me. Got to be why I'm not a scientist or whatever you need to be to identify that. So while we reach the halfway point of the race, we can see Yuji Asher in the AlphaTauri, first place. Jam Sheds, the Ferrari coming in second. Kenda, who started the race in fourth place, got time himself in third. Phantom Nook, the he's currently the championship leader, and he was the pole sitter for this race. He did fall down the order when he put the inters on, unfortunately for him. He managed to pick up a few places of instinct. The Lorne Williams in fifth place, a good return so far for him. Duncan appears to always be there or thereabouts in sixth place in the Aston Martin. RSC, the Lorne McLaren left in the race, so Zach Brown on the team. We're pinning all the hopes on We're pinning all the hopes on him to bring on some points for the walking base team. As we see, he's coming to the pits. I wonder if it's going to be putting on another set of intermediate zone. I might have encouraged some damage. Let's wait and find out, see what happens. No, it appears to be the hard tyres, so if the rain is due to stop, and if that is the case, then he's putting himself right in the battle once the change of conditions returned back to dry. So, we can have a fascinating finale to the racing prospect here. Okay. I imagine we'll be looking at the safety car does indeed come in. Okay, and the race is back underway with Yuji Ashwin leading the pack ahead of Jamsheds in the Ferrari as Kendo, not aggressive he can be, tries to move in the front of Nook, and unfortunately once again we have another yellow flag in 6-3. I wasn't going to pay attention to that, but let's not pay attention. Let's pay attention to the leaders, and it's Yuji Ashwin who's managed to pull out a gap of 1.2 ahead of the Ferraris and the Haas, and these are really going to go to war here as the Haas of Kenda really forces his way through. If I was on the receiving end of that, I wouldn't be too pleased as a driver, which has now put Jamshed in the important position for his teammate looking to go around the outside. Is he going to yield? Unfortunately he does, with Phantom Nook being in the championship battle. Decision made on the Ferrari wall to give him preference, as Duncan is also there or about to try and be the ham in a Ferrari sandwich, a very Italian sandwich, and it looks to have gone up and under as we see the Alpines join forces and take out the Mercedes. Have a look at that incident later on, but as we see now, Duncan and Jamshed's Duncan moves himself up into fourth. He does become the mozzarella in the Italian Calzone. That's the one. So it's Champions in 5th, Phantom Rug in 3rd, Kenta in 2nd place. The very aggressive Kenta in 2nd place. It's going to make it easy for the Champions League to go through as there's a wider line, which tells me that it is drying up. So Yaswin out in 1st place, 1.8 seconds. It's also got the advantage of fact of being one of the drivers who has not incurred a penalty at this stage of the race. So we just need to keep it straight and narrow. 15 laps. Seems a lot easier when you say it like that, but it's a very tricky circuit, especially changing in wet conditions. And you look in the back of the Haas over the rear wing with the charging Phantom Rug in 3rd place, looking to establish his grasp on the championship by taking on some more points. Duncan in 4th place. He appears to have been dropped by the lead 3. John Sheds, I imagine, is still quite annoyed over the incident with Kenda, and himself still in the top 5. With Ross, the 2nd Haas, also qualified in 3rd place for the start of this race. And he's going to be trying to catch the Ferrari. You see a gap towards the 2 Alpines. That's one of the Alpines. You know, they previously joined forces earlier on to knock one of the Mercedes out. So Moe tries to take Charlie, and they do make contact there. Stick beside the track boys. Nice and clean. Moe in the Mercedes looks to have gone through, but I imagine Charlie's going to try and carry the speed through the corners. No, Moe shuts the door and says, "This is my corner, Paul." It looks to have been Kinder to have been the one, unfortunately, to have had a collision previously with the 2 Alpines. And the decision to switch onto the dry tyres is not paying off so far for Instinct. And he finds himself down in 13th, with Coyne in 14th, down in 15th, and unfortunately Odd Wigan, who was having a strong race in the AlphaTauri, has unfortunately retired. And Ham, in 9th place, currently taking home some points for the Aston Martin. So let's go back up to the back for the top 3. So it's Kenda, who is 6 tenths to the good over Phantom Rug as we are into lap 22-21 completed. Into the final third of the race almost. And this is where the tyres could potentially be wearing off. It depends if you're going to stay out on the inters or put another set on. And the gap has also closed to the lead car. It was 1.9, so Ashwin has been pulled in by these two. They're working in tandem, it appears. And no Phantom Rug decides, I'm now going to put a new set of tyres on. It looks like Ashwin is going to put a new set of tyres on as well. It's going for medium, so it is throwing conditions. Swing Instinct might have got it right. He might have just gone a bit too early, so let's see how Instinct improves. He might be able to nab a couple of positions here, as you see a lot of the midfield cars are starting to play. I would imagine that Instinct might find himself about 8th place, a net 8th place when everyone comes out, because what you do get at this circuit is that it does throw you out right back onto the racing line. You do miss the first 2 corners, and so far Instinct, yeah, he's picking people off now, finds himself in 11th. Let's see if he goes for 8th, 9th, I imagine. So anyway, back at the front, where we have Kenda in the lead Haas, with Ross in 2nd place, Ham Sandwich in the Aston Martin running fantastically well, so fine 3rd place. Unfortunately, he has incurred some penalties. Yuji Aswin, the net race leader, once the pit stops, managed to sort themselves out. He will potentially take the race lead again, and during those pit stops, he has managed to take out a 3.1 second advantage over Phantom Rug in the Ferrari. So he just needs to keep his concentration levels here for the last 13 laps, and he will take home the victory at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. So, front 2, Haas, unfortunately, they're going to be stacking. It's a bit of a silly decision, really. One of them should have pitted on the previous lap. So, unfortunately, it's going to be Curtin to kick Ross's potential race win here. Ham's going to be fine as we managed to pit, and as we discussed earlier on, the net race leader returns to the front, and it is Yuji Aswin who, interestingly, Kenda has fired out only 4 steps behind him, so he has incurred a time penalty, so he does need to try and take the lead of this race. And DRS is now enabled, so the conditions are definitely dry as we are now through the wet phase of the race. It's going to be Yuji Aswin leading us through for the last 12 laps with Kenda 8 tenths behind within DRS striking distance. I imagine Ashwin is going to be using the ARS to try and stretch that 1 second advantage. Let's keep on board with the front 2. If any battles open up further down the field, we will endeavour to switch to them. But right now the attention is on these two. And Coin, unfortunately, it's not been the day of the Alfa Romeos as they both incurred penalties. And unfortunately Instinct, who did pull off almost a heist of the day by pitting early on the dry tyres for everybody else, unfortunately incurs another time penalty. So you look at drivers so far as well who've managed to keep themselves clean, if you will. You've got EG Ashwood, not incurred any corner cutting penalties, as Duncan and the Phantom Nug, so they're going to find themselves potentially the podium sitters if it keeps going the way it goes. Also looks like EG Ashwood has managed to drop Kenda somewhat. The gap is now at 1.8 seconds, so he's definitely been better on these tyres in this phase of the race. Okay. Unfortunately, the yellow flag in sector 1, which looks to have been incurred by the Alfa Romeo of Coin once again. Unfortunately, they find themselves in 14th and 15th. Fred Vasseur, the principal, will not be at all impressed with that, as the gap has now opened up to 2.4 seconds as Phantom Nug showing his true pace now, which he showed during qualifying as he closes up on Kenda. This is genuine race pace as well. They both come in on the same lap, both on the same tyres now. Phantom Nug will be hoping to try and get past Kenda, and he can see the lead car in the AlphaTauri through the corner. That will be giving him all the motivation he needs to try and get past the Haas. If it looks at this phase of the race, we might be having a shootout between the front three with 10 laps to go if there's no more safety cars. And you can see the rear wing of that Haas ever closer as we go now full board with the Ferrari driver in the 7th gear, 8th gear. If you're down to 4th or 5th, or down to 4th, down to 3rd, makes some rotation through the corners. Ross gets another time penalty. ELS will be wide open at this point. Let's Kenda tries to break the toe by taking the right hand side. Let's see, has a better room. Kenda has a better room for the corner. The Ferrari does go a bit wide. He's obviously concentrating a lot on the car ahead. You need to make sure you don't do that. You concentrate on your own race at this point as well. Let's see if we can get in that toe and get closer to the half. It doesn't seem to make much inroads in the straight, but you will have the assistance of ELS into the next straight, which has now managed to close the gap down to 7 tenths. EG Ashwood once again with the fastest lap of the race. He is trying to get out of distance, out of sight and out of mind, as the saying goes. With 9 laps to go, as the clock is not taking too much out of the tyres, which means the race might fall away from him in the next stages. But so far, he's in full control as Kenda has opened up a gap to Phantom Nug. The gap is now 1.1, and we go down to the battle for 4th place as Duncan on the medium tyres, the medium tyres, is brought the attention of Merkage in the LP. The gap is down to 3 tenths, and Merkage will kind of go at the hairpin one. Imagine he's close enough right now, a foot inside. No, he decides not to at this moment. Gets a good run out of the corner and might set himself up for a go doing the final chicane at the end of the World Champions. Let's see if he can stick with the Aston Martin, but the gap is looking to close him once again. Must be sort of grunting that Aston Martin as it managed to stay ahead, but no. Slopping through the corners there, Duncan. Getting in the way of the Alpine, he's had to get off the throttle. Unfortunately, I think we have another safety car. I believe this was the 4th safety car for the race. And with that, I will take a commercial break. that was a rather stupid thing to do for the race leader, just to barrel straight into the pits without slowing down. Drive-through penalty incurred by him, drive-through penalty incurred by Duncan as well, speed under the safety car. Not the most intelligent thing to do. There we are. 4 laps to go, and unfortunately Kemba has decided he's had enough and left the session. So, Ashwin, the lead driver once again behind the safety car. Okay, into the final 6 laps. Everybody apart from Phantom Road has incurred a penalty as well, so the Ferrari driver will be looking to try and keep it clean, try and keep the gap within 3 seconds of the lead cars, and he will inherit the race victory. Fantastic performance so far. Yeah. We still have no penalties incurred, no easy feat around the streets of circuit, the Jules Villeneuve. And that's been a long session for all these drivers. You'll see the sun setting. One of the glories of the Mayhem racing league. Trent Mylander for the 5th, 6th time. I don't know, I've lost count. In the safety car. Goes around the sights and sounds that the circuit has to offer. So essentially what you're going to see now, you're going to see 5 laps of excuse the pun mayhem, because it is essentially now a sprint race. It's where it's going to be with the horse PRS left and the battery. Obviously they'll be using this time under the safety car to recharge that. Tyre choices is going to be very important. As you see, Phantom Lug is on the soft as well, so we can have optimum performance for the final 5 laps. We also have Ross on the Haas, the mediums. I don't actually write off his race early on, but he's obviously recovered due to the assistance of the safety car. Looks like the safety car is coming in, and he's going to go on board with Yuji Ashwin, who's going to be leading the safety car for the first time in this race as he explores out the final corner. But unfortunately, there's another time penalty, which is not going to do his race any favours, and Duncan has decided to pit as the safety car comes in. Not the most intelligent thing to do, but he might have incurred damage, and that cannot be helped. We're looking to try and come up in top 10, which would be the safest thing to do in this race, but Yuji Ashwin has an advantage of, I think, shy of a second over Ross and the Haas. With 5 laps to go, Murphy's managed to attack and overtake Phantom Lug. We might have thought better of it since he's the driver without any penalties, and he will, at this moment, inherit net P1 as that had been minted there between Charlie and Ham Sandwich. He finds himself a bit of a spin as he lets through Duncan, his teammate, so it's all gone to ratchet for the Aston Martins. Once again, I do apologise for language, but this hour I don't really give a damn. And Yuji Ashwin for the purple sector in sector 2, which we do have more yellow flags. He's now got the advantage of 1.7. Himself, Yuji Ashwin will be looking to try and win this race by at least 6 seconds to his penalties. Murphy in the Alpine decides to go through the Haas, so he is the man who has really got it going these laps, but obviously Ross in the Haas, he'll try and close him off, hopefully not overly too aggressive. He's also set the fastest middle sector, even though Ashwin went through the fastest, so he's obviously on the more optimum tyre in the soft. Maybe looking to try and chase Ashwin with only 4 laps to go. He used to really look to try and cut into his lead by 3 or 4 tenths a lap. He's going to try and have the go coming into this race. And obviously another man we touched on there, Phantom Nug, 4th place, no penalties in 3rd. His teammate quite comfortably in 5th place now. Instinct, fantastic recovery drive from him. Ends up in 6th ahead of Moe. RFC the lone McLaren. A race McKinder, which promised so much in the earlier goings, unfortunately finds himself down to 9th place, and that looks like where he's going to finish due to being 10 seconds behind. And Duncan, who looks to be taking the sole point for 10th place. So as we go back to the leaders, and it is Yuji Ashwin who has decided to pit. Once again, he's gone straight. Oh, it's a drive-through, of course. Yeah, nobody to blame there. He swept his own race up there. That also explains why Duncan went in. As Merkic goes through with 32 laps to go. The Alpine could potentially be a surprise winner of this race, as the DRS is now enabled. Ross, unfortunately, is 2.1 seconds down, so he really needs to make some inroads on those medium tyres. He needs to hope that the soft tyres of Merkic do wear off and that he can make inroads into that gap. As Phantom Nug also catching Ross. It appears to be the soft tyres have now switched on and now really making inroads into the Haas. And potentially another battle down for 4th and 5th place with Instinct in the Williams. Kisses the wall there. Normally say hug the apex like it's your favourite granny, but don't kiss the wall because I'm getting much out of that. And Jams only 7 tenths ahead, so the Ferrari needs to really get a roll on if he's going to finish potentially in the podium positions. As Phantom Nug now closes the gap to 6 tenths with DRS wide open behind Ross and the lone Haas left in the race. So it would appear that Merkic has the win wrapped up at the moment, obviously depending on the amount of penalties he has. Anything over 3 seconds would hand Phantom Nug the victory, pending Nug does not require any time penalties himself. And I'm sure, as any driver worth his salt would know, he'd rather cross a line in 1st place rather than inherit the race win. But them are the rules. Duncan as well could be acquiring some positions as he finds himself with the driver without any penalties. So the gap is down to 6 seconds. No penalty to go. Duncan does acquire a penalty. We'll be watching this later on and he'll think, why did I have to say that? Unfortunately, the code just gave. So 6 tenths the gap. DRS wide open in the Ferrari as we go down to the right-left chicane. Is Phantom Nug going to have enough to go past the Haas, or is he going to think, I don't need to overtake you, I just need to keep the car straight because you've incurred penalties, as Instinct requires another 3-second penalty as he finds himself battling for 4th and 5th. We're at the inside down to turn 1. Instinct at the inside of the Ferrari jams. Is he going to try and defend it? No, he does not. No. So it goes to show there that the medium tyres are coming to their own in this phase of the race. If you come onto the softs, they might be beginning to blister and wear off now, as RFC obviously requires another penalty. But now the penultimate lap, and Phantom Nug 7 tenths behind Ross as we go on board with the lead Ferrari driver and the championship leader, as he's ready to close in on the Haas. Seems to be getting a little bit overexcited there, ran too heavily into the tight right-hander. The compromise is run down to the hairpin. Brakes a lot more comfortable compared to the Haas as well. It just depends whether we can get on the throttle really enough and really catch up to the back of this Haas. As the gap is slowly going down, 4 tenths, 3 tenths. Is he going to fall inside? No, he's going to stay behind. He's going to Imagine it's like 30 guys when a party's there behind. One more lap to go. Really intelligent driving there from the championship leader, showing why he's the championship leader, requiring no penalties. As we now go on board with the Alpine of Mercedes, potentially the race winner. As he completes for the final time this weekend the first sector. Just to try and keep it clean now. Ensure he does go across the line first race. Ross looks to have secured P2 at this point, with the gap being now 9 tenths at the lug. He's fell out of DRS, so he'll be hopeful that his clean race has inherited himself the victory. Instinct, fantastic recovery drive from the Williams driver. Jams second, Ferrari in fifth place, UGS win. He's battling with Jams as well, so this is a battle that we realised was taking place. Now he's going to cut the inside the hairpin, he might as well. Last lap of the race, he goes for it. The Ferrari pretty much opens the door. He's going to try and get the tour. I think that's quite an intelligent move by the Ferrari, but we don't have any contact. We've just got on board with the potential race winner, and your winner at the Circuit du Villeneuve, Canada, is Merkage Blaz. Could have been a more difficult name for me to pronounce. Ross crosses the line in second place. Phantom Nope potentially inherits the race win. No, he does not inherit the second. Ross Instinct crosses the line in fourth, down to sixth. Jamshed's into fifth. UGS win, fantastic recovery drive from him as he finishes fourth. Moe potentially across the line in seventh. Kinder in the second Mercedes comes across to the eighth, shows us the light by doing a couple of side by side moves. RFC McLaren comes across the ninth, and Duncan delights Lawrence Stroll finishing 10th, taking the points, and Ham, dear Ham, finishes 11th. Hi Charlie in 12th. And so far back, it's Dylan, unfortunately, who looks to come home in 30th place. So thank you for those of you who have managed to put up with my ramblings over the last hour and a half. It's been a pleasure to commentate on this race. Hopefully you'll join us again next week or whenever I decide to do it again. That is myself, Tom, Debs, over and out. Thank you very much.